your little mic thing, like
Hey!
it bends.
You know when I was like, hey, we're going live, and you're like, I want to talk about this, and I'm like, hey, we're going live, but it bends.
Yeah, Ollie's is wrong. Ollie's is up. Why is his Ollie's?
It's because I don't. I'm used. My microphone's down there. I don't use this fucking thing.
But it goes
Where's
back
your
to the
microphone?
original position.
Where's your
Oh,
microphone?
you know what? I didn't even turn the cameras on, so I was like making fun of you, and then I was the one who made the mistake. That's the funny thing.
Screaming voices.
Hey, hi, it's my gorgeous mug, and more importantly, Dean's gorgeous mug,
Everybody loves Dean.
and everyone else is.
Yeah.
So,
Not everybody.
Everybody loves Dean.
I think everyone loves Dean. Name me a man who doesn't love Dean, or a woman, I guess.
Dylan Barkworth.
Fact check. Fact check.
So,
What do you think this is? Fact
we're starting to stream. Welcome to my D&D stream. As always, it's a fucking shit show. So, you know, that's how we do. That's the way I like to live my life. So, we're here.
Actually,
Where
I
we
watched
were.
I watched this D&D earlier, and it was a proper shit show. It was done by some American guy with a beard. It was like
Ugh.
Mass Effect D&D or some shit.
Who would
Oh my
even
God.
want to play
And the
Mass
player-
Effect
and the
D&D?
player, this player at the top of the screen, he was just boring. It had like a weird neck beard thing going on.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
fucking
God.
weird. It's gross. I think there's things living in it. Anyway, we're not here for Mass Effect. That's early time. It's time for D&D, my game of D&D, where last week you had conflicting job offers. And some people maybe didn't want to do some job offers, so you've ended up going off to a elven forgings town, although using the word town is kind of a little bit of an overstatement. There's not many people live here, named Feathermill. So, that's where you've gone, on your mission. Now, if you didn't see the end of last stream, old Neely Boy there did a ridiculous stream of bullshit, because that's what he does, where Vale basically has managed to talk them into that place, where finding the people that you needed to find, you talked in and like, okay, basically, they're here for Caitlin. Caitlin is apparently a noblewoman. You're all her entourage, right? And you're trying to get very fancy, custom-made armor for her, and it's going to take a while. So you've actually been given a room in the Fafamel Fortress for the time being. So that's where we start off. Literally, we're given this room, and good old Gilwyn walked around checking for magical traps while playing a song, and you
sniffing.
figured out and sniffing, because you smell magic, you see. And you figured out you're good. So, that's where you sit. This room is nice. Where it is in the place, Fafamel is a sort of a ring of two-story buildings that are all a terrace sort of thing with a courtyard in the middle and a castle type thing. But it's not quite the full size of a castle, but you know what I mean. Castle type thing, which is the forge. You are in the forge, but like on the second level, so you kind of can join and walk around everything else. Your
So
room...
there's not actual forging on this level. This is like above where the forge is.
No, but there would be, but it's sort of like not near you, basically.
All he means is this is like a keep.
No, I got that. I got that.
You have like one nice together room, and you actually have 6 bedrooms. You don't even need all 6. You have 6 little bedrooms. They're small, but they're comfortable, and that's where we start off here. After a moment to decompress, after the lot of lying you had to do. And that's where we begin.
I believe I'd outlined some plans. So I'd formed some plans in my head. So Vale's gonna motion to everyone. He's still slumped in his chair, and he's like, "I have a plan about how we can go about this. It is might be a bit difficult, but it gives us the best chance of finding out what we need to know." So first off, what I need is Caitlin. You are the noble. I have the least to give you. You will sort of mull around and be interested in things. Gilwyn. The lady mentioned she loves music. You will hang around the forge. You will talk to her, befriend her, maybe sing her some music. That will be good. Forak, obviously, you will be in the forge with the smiths themselves. See whether they know anything. See whether
They
you
don't.
can... see whether you can find out anything useful.
These are elven smiths. What use?
I mean about the lady.
Oh,
About
yes,
her lover.
yes, of
Perhaps
course.
they may have seen her. Perhaps they
course.
may know something. I, on the other hand, will attempt to speak with the other young lady. What was her name? She was.
So you met two people here.
Yes, one was the actual Aghast lady. I'm talking about the other Aghast lady.
Yeah, you met two. You met Lariath Aghast, who you were basically told by Lady Pandora to go here and essentially kidnap a woman that she's too close to. And the other woman you met is named Kellen Moonaghast.
Yes.
And Kellen is sort of a high-ranking member of this keep type thing, but is below Lariath.
Yes. And I will go and speak to the Moonaghast lady, and I will attempt to either flirt with her or maybe go get a couple of drinks and see whether she knows anything. They seemed quite close earlier, so that seems the best plan. Also, change of plan. I do not think I should be your guide, but I should be your seneschal. That gives me a little bit more power in what I am doing in terms of your negotiation.
Didn't you already say what you are? Can you not change it? No?
Nope. They took it all on the nose. But if anyone asks, we say Smith, Bard, Seneschal, Noble.
For the audience, what is a seneschal? And not for me, for the audience.
Steward.
Yeah. Good. Thank you.
Ollie, you're welcome for the definition of seneschal. Read a fantasy book.
No! Readings for nerds!
Yeah.
The only thing I want to read is
I just
all
need to make
these
sure
books.
you know what it means.
All these books is all I want to read.
The way Ollie said that sounded like Christopher Walken. No! Readings for nerds!
Anyway, yes, that is my plan. For the most part, we will be split up. Perhaps within the forge, Caitlin would be near Forak or Gil, but until then, try to play it a bit careful, yes? Try not to reveal too much without being discourteous. Forak, especially.
I'll do my best to be dwarf in elven smithery.
I would prefer to follow my lady. If that is okay.
Everybody is surprised by this, yes.
I think I'd prefer to have you follow me too, Sir Gilwyn. I'm not confident I can keep this up for 2 weeks on my own.
She's already
What
cracking.
suggesting is that Gilwyn help you keep up?
Just smirk at Forak.
Is probably for the best, yes. Now, let me see. I need to do some writing
Oh,
in
writing?
my bio, because otherwise I'll forget all this. Right, so...
Oh, you're
I-
writing everyone's name.
Yeah, so I
stuff?
need to know
Okay.
it's Lagast?
Lariath.
Lariath.
Laireth. I think it is said in the journal. I can actually put it in your.
No, that's fine.
roll 20.
Lariath.
Oh,
I
whatever.
don't
It
need.
doesn't
I don't
matter.
need the actual spelling. She is.
She's in charge of the place. She's the
Yeah.
half dryad.
Yeah. In charge. I know who everyone is. I just can't remember their names.
Hmm.
In charge. Targets. Lover. Potentially.
Oh, do you want the name I gave for Caitlin as
Maria.
well, just in case?
Yes, that is
It
very
would be
important.
yeah, but it was Maria Lelayan.
Yeah, because you had to say something really awkward to pronounce.
The
It's not even
Leia.
like
Lelayan.
fantasy. Like it's just like hard to say. That's all
Yeah.
it is.
And
You put it on
one-
yourself.
I know.
My target was blah 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 Moonagast. I need that first name.
Kellen.
Kellen.
Hey,
Kellen Moon Aghast. Okay, thank you very much. Sorry guys, I know that's boring, but I'll lose
You
my...
gotta keep notes.
I know.
Or not. You could be like me. You
My
could be a reckless
target.
mofo.
Those two hilarious. Yeah, that's what I did. I mostly just rely on Ian. But since I'm going to be separated from them, I probably ought to remember some stuff. Right, okay.
Sounds good. Sounds like a smart thing to do, which is weird. Why are you doing it? Heyo.
That's lovely of you. You rude
So,
dude.
you? If I remember correctly, it's actually really early in the day when you're shown to these rooms. You basically saw them right at the beginning of the day, and you did spend a while of waiting. So it would be at least around noontime, because you spent a long time waiting for people, and in an elven forge, no one's in any rush. No one at all is rushing. If you want to be like, hey, can I find someone? You might get someone come back to you in 2 hours, maybe. You know, so it's around about noontime. You have the day is young for you to continue your deep and dark desires. Party of adventurers.
I mean, I'm at this point. Vale's gonna, make sure your sword's buckled on nice and tight. I wish you all good luck. I am going to go and find my quarry and see whether she will have some drinks. No?
I will go to Forge and watch metal get disrespected by these people.
Yes,
It may not always be metal. You might see something more interesting, eh?
That just makes me bigger depressed.
There. I hear here they work with wood. And then he's gonna walk out.
What is wrong with wood? You need wood to burn coal, and then you need coal to burn.
I think he
Like Vale's already left.
armor out of wood, Sephorak. Yes. So Gil, let's. Under the pretense of me having a look round at the place, do you want to accompany me and play some music around while we're wandering?
Yeah, and just for the record, don't call me Gilwyn, or definitely don't use the word Gallagher.
Yes. Sorry. What was the name you gave?
I didn't actually give a name.
He's not got a name yet. Nameless.
I'm
boy.
going to be
Pedro.
Simwick Yu-Gi-Oh.
Simwick Yu-Gi-Oh. All right.
Yeah.
People are going to ask about that last name. Oh, where's that from? Are you from Tron?
We may have been talking about this before we came.
My grandfather. Sorry, my grandfather on my father's side was from the Orient, so Yu-Gi-Oh. What can I say?
Oh yeah. Also, I called myself Valley. By the way, I didn't give a
Yes.
full name.
It was Valley.
Like,
All right.
you mean like your name's like Valet?
Elf from the
actually
Valet.
spelling that Valley.
Awesome, it's
I don't
awesome.
care how it's intended.
So,
Yeah, no. It's part of Vale's real name. Vale Valentner.
Yeah.
It's just the first bit of his last name.
yeah. If you're going to take a fake name, stick with something you know, right? So,
Yep.
let's
Caitlin.
deal with Caitlin and Gilwyn first. So, you're just sort of wandering, right? You're wandering
See you for
with
the next
purpose.
3 hours, guys.
Caitlin's looking around interestedly at things.
Mhm.
I mean, that's probably not faked because Caitlin
No,
is
yeah,
this is
okay.
an Elven Forge. It's probably
So,
pretty interesting.
Caitlin, give me an investigation roll. Gilwyn, you can also give me an investigation roll, but also give me a performance roll because you are literally being the traveling bard right now. You're going to be strumming some tunage.
Ooh. Ooh. What?
So, they don't really appreciate it. No one tells you to stop, but the people inside the keep, I imagine you're staying mostly inside the main building, it's very large. The music travels. Now, does it necessarily travel over the noise of the forges and the smelteries and things? Not in most places, but it travels enough that it clearly disgruntles people. Maybe because you're playing a song that's not particularly elven, or maybe just they just don't like it. Or maybe it's just because you're living here for a time and they don't like that. But Caitlin, you spend your, probably the rest of the day doing this, walking around the main keep, unless you want to say anything. Otherwise, just doing a sort of general looking about, which may come in handy later, but you don't really come up with anything amazing. I'll just go over the general layout of this structure, the main keep. At the bottom floor is mostly a showroom at the front, and then some forges at the back, and then sort of in layers, there are some forges, but they're at the back, so all the smoke billows up. Your rooms are much further up, where there are sort of meeting rooms near the front of the building, and then you assume there are much nicer suites and housing at the top of the tower and places like that, because it is very vast in here. It's one huge chamber, right, with rooms off the side, but it's not as big as the building could be, so there's like floors up at the top. So you do that.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
Oh, what's the climate like outside?
Outside, it is
Like, did we travel north? I thought because we
a
were going
little
south.
bit north, but not enough to be noticeably
So
different.
it's still like a temperate climate.
It's still
outside?
like temperate springtime. The terrain
is it like very warm in this building because of the forges?
It's warmer than naturally, but not necessarily uncomfortably. So, why?
I know. I'm just curious because like obviously you have exhaust pipes that have to take the smoke out, but
It's still going to be
are-
warmer. It's still going to be warm, right?
Wicked hot. Okay.
It's not like going into for the direct comparison, going into a forge in the Dwarven district, which is
Yeah, I think
not
that's-
ventilated, and because that would be wasting and stuff like that. This is habitable and fine, but you know, if you were in certain parts of it, it would be a lot. You know,
I
It'd be a
think the
lot.
ventilation isn't just natural, though, is it? It's magically.
There's
enhanced.
magically enhanced
Yeah.
everything here, but not to the nth degree, just a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I'm asking because like people sweat at the very sorry, Caitlin. Ladies perspire. But you know, dudes sweat. So I imagine Forak doesn't sweat, but he just smells worse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like I
Yeah.
just kind of like it's almost like he has this humid odor to him without you
So
know what I mean? So
Forak-
that's why I'm just trying to like think about it.
Are you doing
Yep.
what you're saying for the day? Are you going to watch Forge people?
Yep.
I mean, you could just
Watch
stay in the
Forges.
room. No one would tell you anything.
Nope. We are here for a task that I'm 100%
I'm
behind.
not even going to make you roll. Your presence definitely annoys people. Again, they don't talk about
I have the
it
image of
because
there's, like, an
they
elf
were.
working a forge, and Forek's like uncomfortably
Oh, yeah.
close.
Yeah.
It's just like
It's like
Imagine
breathing on their
sparks are
neck.
literally flying in my face because I don't care because I'm so close to them like hitting the thing. I'm like, this is not good. You swing like a 3-year-old girl.
Well, thank you for the advice, Master Dwarf.
It is not advice. This is lessons. Perhaps you should put down the hammer. and
Well,
stop
I've been
destroying
forging
this
for 400 years, yes, Master
Yes,
Dwarf.
but these
like that.
400
These
years
are the
is kinda a waste of
conversations
time.
that continue for perhaps 6 hours.
That's it.
Well, I mean, it depends how long you end up staying up. But you know, for the rest of the day, and
Oh,
no
like
one
this.
straight tells you to leave because they. You do see a couple of conversations between people who are working, but it's mostly in Elvish. But they look at you and it's like, oh, he's meant to stay.
No,
apparently.
I see. I'm supposed to be well behaved. I imagine mostly what I do is I just keep referring to like I'd be like, oh, that's a really nice ornate piece. Oh, look at that. That would look great on a wall. Oh, look at this over here. This is a very fancy piece. I'm sure some noble would enjoy wearing it. You know what I mean? Like that. I would go around and just give those kind of backhanded compliments
Yeah.
to everything.
And
Because I'm
as-
supposed to be a nice person, and so I'm being nice.
As they are elves, they understand your backhanded compliments because they invented them in the year. So we shall go to Vale. Everyone was waiting for the seduction plotline, so here we are. It was Gilwyn last time.
So
now it's Vale.
badly wrong.
yeah, it's gonna go horrifically wrong.
Of course it is.
I presume she's an eligible female elf of my age-ish.
Again, like a little older, but yes,
Yes, within my age range.
attractive to you. Yes,
Half my
essentially.
age plus 70. That's the lower range. Then you do double your age plus 70.
Oh wow.
Okay, so yeah, you can easily find her. She's the kind of person who oversees more than anything, and you can easily tell that because she's not as muscular as most of the elves around here. She's an overseer of some kind. So you can easily find her, and she will acknowledge your presence, but she won't necessarily talk to you. She'll be like, oh, and like do a little nod thing, but she won't actively go to talk to you. She's on her own as well. She's like on a floor above, looking over the forges, and you can actually tell she's kind of watching where Thorak goes. She seems entertained by him.
Well, I'm gonna be rolling like half of this with disadvantage, aren't I?
Yes.
Let's see here. Charisma check against female elf. Yeah. Well. Let's try that. Vale's gonna like.
Yes.
I was.
What was that, Scott? What was funny?
I was wondering if perhaps you might. Well, maybe you would like to perhaps go to the local. Maybe we could go to the inn and get a drink. I am interested to hear about your.
It's rather early in the day. I have work to be doing. Don't you?
Perhaps after your work. No, the lady has excused me for the remainder of the day. She is pleased with how the deal went, and I do not have that much to do here.
Well, I wish I could get half the day off. Go ahead and give me a persuasion roll for, afterwards. And yeah, you have disadvantage because you're trying to... You're talking to an attractive female elf.
Ripperoonie.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe you'll just be good at it. But I like that Vale didn't even acknowledge his own issue. He was like, I will do this. And then he goes up and is like, oh shit, she's got boobies. Oh no.
Oh god.
Oh god. Oh golly gee.
I'm amazed that no one because Thorak was with him when the last ending went so badly. I'm amazed.
I don't think Thorak gives a shit is the thing. Thorak knows that Vale chokes up around.
No, I saw it happen once. That's not a trend. That's
true.
true.
Yeah, that's true. That Thorak, little scientific bastard.
Thorak, give me a perception roll. So, you sort of do this, and she's like, maybe you'll see me at the tavern. I do have other things to attend to, but we'll see.
Vale's nervous. Oh, holy shit.
You absolutely see him. You see him go up, and you probably spend a little bit of time watching this conversation. You can't hear it, but you can see the reactions. He's not doing very well. But she's being very polite about it.
Vale's very nervous, and he realizes, and that hurts. That it's just like probably not. So he's going to try a different tact, and he's going to be like, are you scared I might drink you under the table? A sun elf like me? Showing you up?
You know what I'm going to make you roll? Intimidation. With disadvantage, of course.
7 again. This disadvantage.
She just kind of like laughs. It's like, you have no idea how much the people here drink, do you? You have no idea. You have no idea what goes on here, do you? And she's like actually kind of like not like, ugh, you're annoying me, but she's like and walks away from you, just straight up. Like that's the end of the conversation.
Shit. I blew it. Oh boy. I need a drink after that.
Well, let us have a conversation. Perhaps you do not know the ways to speak to lady.
Well, you see, there aren't many sun elves of my age, so and then when I was on the ship, there were again no elves of my age, so
perhaps I give you lesson in how to speak to lady.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
There's like he wants to be like, no, you're clearly terrible, but like he's just been smacked down, and he's like he sort of crosses his arms uncomfortably and leans in a little bit, and he's like, what is the trick?
Let me show you.
And I actually go and walk up to her.
You do, and she like turns with a bigger smile than she had to Vale, just at like as she looks down at you, like, oh, hello.
Reminder: this is the assistant of the.
This is the assistant. This is not the person you are coming to.
Kellen.
This is Kellen. Yes, this is the assistant.
I walk about the forge and I see many things of beauty be made. Some intended for decoration, and they do good job there. I would like opportunity to see around this forge and see the places that you hold the metal and do the preparations. Perhaps the smelting and things like this. Do you have time to show me around the forge?
She, like, you don't even need to roll for this. She straight up actually likes you. Whether she likes you like as a person or just because she finds you entertaining.
Yeah.
You know what? You can ride a friendship by being entertaining for a long time. So
that's how I get by.
Yeah, she kind of like has a little bit of a laugh in her voice, like, well, of course. And then she kind of like, you can tell she's kind of thinking to herself, and like there's probably more that she was going to say, but she doesn't actually say it. And then she kind of like claps her hands up together a little bit and is like, well, follow me, come on. We store most things further down in the basements. And just starts leading you away.
Absolutely. So I'm going to go off with her and have a conversation with her about the things. Unfortunately, because she's an elf, I'm going to, and I'm trying to be nice. I'm putting the efforts in the nicestnesses. I'm going to be, again, that kind of like snidely, like I'm going to say actual compliments, and my character is going to genuinely think he's being complimenting, but they're going to come off as like backhanded compliments. Like he actually is trying. It's just he's so bad with elves that like he's like, oh, look at this cute little thing here. Oh, that sword's actually known for having killed 7,000 orcs. Yeah. And he's like, really? I wouldn't pick my teeth with it. Ha 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 ha. You know, like,
she genuinely like, which is funny because this is before you like really go into places where you can't be seen. Genuinely belly laughs like twice from Thorak, which Vale definitely would hear and maybe see as they walk around. But she doesn't show you anything like... I mean, this is interesting because it's like storerooms. And what's interesting is that, like they said, there's a large variety of magical metals, things that are beyond normal steel, bronze, stuff like that, right? There's a lot of that. Mostly it's stored in chests that are apparently magically locked. And she briefly explains, but doesn't show you in too much detail. Because
I don't ask about that stuff. I understand secrets. Yep.
But yeah, you just have a little bit of a tour around. There's actually 2 storerooms, one at the back of each side of the building, like a floor below. You do notice something, or maybe you do. Why don't you give me a perception roll, Mr. Thorak?
Please.
Perception.
Perception. I'm so good at the perceptions. I'm average.
This whole place is rather damp.
Nice.
It's like, and it's clearly not a design feature. It's like there's just wetness seeping in from somewhere, which isn't entirely weird.
How many levels underground are we?
Like 1.
Just 1 level underground. I do have a bonus to dungeoneering. That's one of my advantage things. Could I kind of like once I notice it, could I like investigate a wall or something?
Absolutely.
I suck at investigation, so I'm totally gonna take advantage of that.
Yeah, that's I think that's 100% accurate. I'm glad you had a.
Well, I rolled a 91.
Wow.
So
you really do suck at investigation.
You spend some time, and it's probably while you're talking, and you don't make it super obvious. But you kind of like tap some walls. You listen. You can hear
you lick a wall.
You can hear running water behind, and there seems like there's not very far below this entire place a small underground, maybe lake isn't big enough, but a source of water that is spreading. And you place your ear to the wall, and you're underground right now, and you hear bird song, briefly. And you're, like, paying a lot of attention to this, and Kellen kind of, like, when she realizes that's what you're doing, which takes her a little while because you're acting weird and you're a dwarf, so she kind of assumes you're just acting weird because you're a dwarf. It's like, oh, the water's from the well.
I don't think so.
The well draws from reservoir. Yes.
Come here.
And she goes over and then crouches.
Place your ear against the wall, and I'm actually gonna point at the exact spot where I had my ear.
She does that. I'm actually gonna roll for her, just to make it fair.
Dwarves have huge heads like elephants, so we pick up those subsonic sounds really well.
She kind of like, I hear trickling of water from the well. I didn't build this place, so I don't really know I could show you the well if you want to.
Do you hear the song?
I hear the song of the forges above, Master Dwarf.
There is
I bet you're saying that there's a song in the stone. Oh,
there
that's
is a tweeting
adorable.
of birds. Oh,
I bet it does sound like birds. Yeah. I'll show you the well. Come on. And she actually just starts like leaving.
Actually, I'm fine with that one.
So she takes you outside of the building, and she's still laughing at. There's a song in the bird, with water in the stone, the bird song. She finds that really funny, and it's you go in a courtyard a bit, and then you go inside a bit in one of the first floor buildings, and there is a large room that is the well, right? Almost looks like a fountain at first, then you realize it's an elven well, so it's kind of fancy looking. But it is overflowing, right? So there's this little wall, and there's sort of a bench on it, and there's actually someone sitting on the bench, and you kind of think that you just like glance at them and you assume they're a child, but you can take a better look at them in a moment, because when you say that, it's always a halfling, right? Because it's a halfling, fuck you. But the well is kind of like overflowing, and you can see, and it's very clear water.
His name was Timmy. I knew his future.
And it appears to be coming from, it's obviously the well is coming from somewhere down below, but you can tell from what you rolled before, but like it's not coming from that far below. Usually a well digs really deep down. This is just like it's like on the other side of the wall, more or less. Now that halfling, is a little weird as the halfling, right? Tiny little short people, basically hobbits. Is a woman, but maybe takes a couple of glances to realize she has very short blonde hair, and she's playing with a dagger, which is kind of why you were like, oh, that isn't a child because of the dagger, and then you like looked at them like, oh, it's a halfling, right? Because I think Vorak has no hatred for halflings, hopefully. But she's just sort of sitting there, and she's wearing like black leather armor and everything.
Dwarves they don't like orcs, they don't like goblinoids, they don't like kobolds, they don't like elves. They don't like giants. They don't like demons. They don't like devils. They don't like lizard folk. They don't like. I can keep going.
Yeah.
But, halflings are just not
noteworthy. I can't believe you generalize dwarves like that.
They don't
But
like
that's
frosted
I don't write.
shredders.
I didn't write Dungeons and Dragons.
They don't like
So,
Coke Zero.
yeah. You're at this well, and you can tell maybe it's deliberately meant to be sort of like bubbling over. And there's a couple of like. It seems like the halfling is sitting there actually has like a bucket that she's filling with clean water, but she's not looking at it. She's just kind of sitting there playing with the dagger. And Kellen just sort of shows you, like, this is the well. See it. The water flows so fast and bubbles up so quickly from whatever down below. There's so much of it. It kind of leaks into our storerooms. If anything, it could be damaged by the water. We keep it further up, but then if it could be damaged by the fire of the forges, then we have to keep it further down. But there's a whole flip-flop situation that goes on there.
How deep does this go?
I mean, you can straight up do a quick perception for me, Forak. She's kind of like, you'll have to ask someone else.
Does
about
dungeoneering
that.
apply to this?
Yes, totally. I'm totes allowing that.
Totes. Quick shout out to Ollie's dog in the background this week.
Yeah, that's my dog. That's my doggo over there.
He's a very good boy. Ollie told him
He's
to
been sitting for
he's been
sitting for 5 hours now. He's very good.
I forgot to bring my dog out
He's been sitting for 5 hours now.
during break.
It goes down a little further than you can see, and you can tell there is literally a lip, like a U-bend, but the distance is kind of like probably like I could probably maybe if I wasn't a zombie, I could probably like dive down there maybe, but then you're like, oh, but I don't know how I deal with water. But Kellen gives you no
oh god, he
solid
comes
answer.
out all bloated.
Oh no, I have every intention of going in the water.
Good.
I go, and this right here. What kind of stone is this? What the well is made out of?
Nothing particularly fancy. Generic stone.
Good, I borrow the stone. It will help me with what I intend to do.
And so I reach down and I actually place my hands on the stone and.
You do that, and immediately the halfling just like flips the dagger and kind of turns at you. And of course, it's the exact same thing that happened in Aradia. The water just sort of goes and flows, and actually sort of makes Kellen fall back, and she yelps. But the halfling jumps up, which isn't entirely threatening. I mean, it's short of
Val, help the lady.
I don't know if a Vale. Give me a perception roll to see if you heard her yell, because you wouldn't have been necessarily super nearby. And actually, you two can do it too.
Hey.
Not only Vale do you hear the yell, you kind of like dash there in record time, and you just sort of see this entire scene of Kellen falling over. In fact, she got there so fast, she's not even hit the ground properly yet. And then like, poof,
I catch her.
Gilwin, you can give me a perception roll if you want. But then there's this halfling who's drawn a dagger at
I
Thorak.
don't care about that. I just need to catch Kellen.
Do you want to catch Kellen? Give me an acrobatics
Yeah.
roll with disadvantage because it was so late.
Oh my god, Natty's all acrobatics, yeah?
Yeah, disadvantage though because that's
You gotta
really going to be a hard one.
You gotta swoop at her and snatch her up before she hits the ground. But you know what? Gilwin gets there first.
Yeah, you actually do grab her, but it's sort of one of the ones where you have to like jump onto the ground. You don't like pick her up in the air. You jump onto the ground to grab her.
Gilwin,
The
gear swooping to catch the lasses.
the halfling is just like, what are you intending to do? What is this magic? Where are you getting this from, huh? Who are you pulling this from?
I don't even look at the halfling. I just take my cloak off so he can see or she can see my like stone face. I'm just gonna take it off, drape it on the now wet ground, and I jump into the well.
You do that. Give me an athletics or acrobatics. They are going to try and grab you.
Sure. Athletics?
Yeah.
Sure. I don't have advantage for this, so...
No,
click
it's
that
more
off.
like knowledge about dungeoneering, right? That's how we were doing it. They are going to try and grab you. They don't have any bonus to strength, so they actually like can't. You like a fish, and she's very close.
Heavy stonefish.
She actually,
I'm just a rock. I just step off the ledge and go kerplunk.
she actually like grabs, but what she ends up pulling out is like just a clump of red hair, and just like, and she like you guys see she just jumps in after you. Like, so Thorak, you sink to the bottom, completely fine. You can see that.
So I have dark vision, and I want to, on my way down, make an investigation or perception, whichever you think is more appropriate, with my advantage to try to see what's going on in this well.
Absolutely.
Which one?
Perception, because it's a quick thing. Investigation would be
Also
like if you're taking a little more time.
Better for me, anyways.
Yeah, that's
I won.
usually how I like to do perception investigation. So like I said, it's quite well made. And then there's this lip, and the lip kind of opens up into a little bit of a natural cave. You can actually see the light from the other side. There's light in the other side of this natural cave. So you could actually just walk up. Like, you couldn't walk out from the well because of the stone, but you couldn't actually walk up this lip.
Yep,
It'd
I'm
take a
going
little
to
while.
because I weigh a lot of weight.
While you're doing that, the halfling actually goes to swim past you. Are you going to try and stop her?
Why would I
I'm
stop
just
her
saying.
from going past me? If she wants to get there because she's more excited to be there than I am, then Thorak has no problem with letting the halfling go. It's a race, and she wins. I'm just kidding. What is the ground made from around me?
It's all stone. This is like smooth stone, but yeah, it's all stone.
Is there any loose stone down here as well, just because it's the bottom of a well and things collect?
A little bit of pebbles and the occasional small rock. Yeah, nothing crazy. Nothing crazy.
Okay. Could
don't
I
do magic stone? You gonna throw a stone at the back of her head? What is this?
mold earth?
Oh.
It's only a somatic component, so it's kind of like.
Yeah.
And more or less, I want to take all that loose stone and everything that happens to be on the ground everywhere within the radius I can affect, which is a range of 30 feet, you know, whatever, blah, 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 5-foot cube, which is a decent sized area, right?
Yeah, I guess that she gets a halfling underwater.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 5-foot cube, it's, again...
It's
because
good
we're
against
dealing with
anyone,
walls
right?
and
Yeah.
stuff, too. So this is all dirt, debris, all that stuff that's down here. I'm going to grab it and just kind of like swirl it around as a halfling to just, I ain't doing anything. It's just...
Okay, they're gonna do
swirling
a
around there, and-
save against your spell save modifier, which is 11. So we'll see how that goes. Because that makes sense to me.
This is where Thorak comes up like 20 minutes later and Vale's like, "What have you done? Where is the halfling?" And you're like, "Oh, they didn't come back up?"
Oh, they need to breathe air.
And like
Breath
20
of
minutes
time.
later, just a halfling's corpse just floats up and bobs up to the top of this
Oh
well.
god.
So,
It's my blood brother.
this does slow them down, but you know what they actually do? Actually just basically tears off the outer layer of their armor and squirms free. And you do try and continue to fold the earth over them, but they do get to the top of the water, and you can tell from down there, she's yelling. You can't hear what, but she's yelling out there.
And it's
Sure.
like,
So
That's fine.
you.
Oh, hold on, wait a second. Sound travels faster underwater than it does above.
Yeah, but it's all distorted, so you can hear it, but you can't really tell what it is. Unless you
Should I
want to
make a perception roll?
I'll allow that.
Ian
And,
can simulate the
do I get
sound.
disadvantage because I'm underwater versus above water?
Nah, I think it's just
Because she's going that way. And
it's just going to be a little
reverberating it.
hard. I think that's fine. Which is easier.
I'll roll with regular perception.
What you can tell, I mean, it's all gibberish, but it sounds like yelling a name and yelling for help. I mean, you know what that sounds like, right?
What was the name? Don't make it
You
up.
can't hear it. The specific, yeah. It's like a. It's like 2 syllables. That's all you really catch.
You can hear the.
And you guys outside the well, you can give me perception with absolute disadvantage.
I mean, there's shittle chance of us hearing this through like what, 30 foot of water.
Yeah, but I'm letting you because it's a fantasy land.
Gilwyn's ears bleed.
Oh, what a
Vale and Caitlin, you actually, what you notice is a thrashing under the water. You know, like it's disturbing the well water. I mean, more than it is. I mean, it's you took you basically took apart the well. So
I didn't.
No, I know. I was looking at Scott on my screen when I said it, but of course that doesn't really matter.
I'm far too busy telling Kellen that he's prone to flights of fancy, and he does this every now and again. He goes off, has a fit, we call it, and we just have to chain him down for a day.
Are you actually having that conversation, Vale?
Yeah.
Give me a persuasion roll with disadvantage.
Persuasion or deception?
Deception, obviously. Don't be ridiculous. It's a big old
I don't
stinky
know.
lie.
Is it really a lie?
Considering she's a little spooked right now, she kind of believes you. But it might be one of those things. The conversation comes back up later. Like my dinner wants to.
Can I just clarify that this well, right? So it's been destroyed. The halfling went down under it and then has come back.
No.
Not the whole. Has come back part way.
No.
So
there's a lip and there's a U bend. They're on the other side now. Vorak and the halfling. The halfling's
so
actually in the cavern on the other side.
Toilet. They've been flushed and now.
Yeah, they've been flushed.
Right, okay.
They've been flushed right now.
It's funny because the way you described them squirming out of their armor, I was like, is this a were-rat?
That'd be kind of cool. That'd definitely be something a were-rat does.
And
But
that's one of the reasons why we have U-bends. Rats.
Were-rats, especially. So, Vorak, you can, unless you don't want to, walk out into the cavern. Right?
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, I'm going to go and...
Stomp.
One of the first things I'm going to do is when I get over there, I'm going to peek out, and is it lit up?
It's
Completely?
lit, not particularly brightly, but it is lit. There is a torch in the back of the room.
Gotcha. So, I mean, I have dark vision combined with whatever the torch is given, so I look out into the room and,
What you see is a little natural cavern, but something that seems a little unnatural is the amount of grass and greenery in it, and a little bit of tree canopy, and birds and plants. There is a statue in the back of the room made of beautiful wood, and one of their eyes is a gemstone of some kind. You can see the glittering of it, and your senses go, oh. But on the other hand is that a torchlight. But what you also think is a statue until you see it move is this big tree. Not the size of a real tree, but this dryad, actual full dryad that the halfling is talking to, and it's looking down.
Oh, that's funny. That's not what I thought it was. Cool.
And is looking down at the halfling. And now that you're here, you can hear she's like, Patika, he's someone's coming, and I don't know why. They're probably trying to kill us. And the dryad actually turns, and this is unsettling, right? Dryads are, they're fey beings made of wood and a sort of mixture of wood and flesh. It's not really flesh; it's made of wood, but it kind of ends up that way. But this guy has a Cheshire grin. Like, his smile is toothy, and it goes way wider than it should do, naturally. Not like the Joker-like cut, it's just natural. And he just turns and does this smile, and... Are you trying to hide, Vorak, or are you just standing
poking my head in.
It's like the smiling titan from the first episode.
Yes, it actually is.
Yeah.
God.
And he just kind of turns, and in what you only assume is Elvish, he just says something like, "His Seth," and starts walking and actually like sort of reaches for a tree, and the branches form into a spear. And as he starts walking forward,
I'm looking at it, not threateningly, and not like, scared yet.
Yeah, it starts walking forward like a not heavy enough to make the ground shake, but sort of like his legs are fusing with the grass each time, right? And he's pulling. There's a lot of effort in the walking. But there is another voice that says, No, we're not fighting. It's very strange for someone to come down here, and there's at least 2 sort of slight doorways in this cavern that go to different places. And what walks out is a purple-skinned tiefling, who has flowers in their hair and up their horns and stuff, wearing very comfortable clothing and just sort of like, again, a big grin, but not as unnatural as the dryads. And they're just like, "Oh, a dwarf. That's interesting. Have you come to pray too?" I don't think you have. I don't think you have. But it would be good if you did. You know, we could always do with some dwarfs. You know, the masonry would be nice.
There is a lot of questions to answer. You speak very quickly.
First, I've been told that several times. My girlfriend, she goes over the moon out of how fast I go. Quite funny that, actually, because, it's a whole thing. We could talk about it over some tea. Do you like honey in your tea?
I do not drink tea.
Oh, well, Nif here does brew her own cider. Now, it's not the best, and the halfling just, like... The other 2 in the room, the halfling and the dryad, like, are visibly relaxed. The dryad is still holding the spear, but the halfling is just, like, kind of visibly relaxed and hasn't sheathed the dagger, just sort of holding it out to her side. And she's like, it's fucking good, okay? It's good stuff. And the tiefling's like, it's okay. It's okay, but I would much rather buy anything from a shop. But, it's a hobby, and I very much, I adore that you're pursuing your passions down here, but the distillery you've made, it stinks up the place. You can keep that room to yourself, Nif. What were we talking about, little dwarf man?
You were talking. I did not start yet.
Why are you here?
It sounded like a leak in the wall. It is making the forge function less well because of the moisture in the air. It's also impacting the stores of goods to forge things. These are elves, and so the wares, they make us shit, and this is just making it worse.
Give me a persuasion, Forak. What are you doing, Vale?
At this point upstairs, like, Vale's getting nervous now because they've been underwater a long time, and he turns to Kellen and he's like, "How deep is the well?"
I don't know. I don't know how deep it is. He asked, and then he went in.
He might be drowning.
He jumped in.
He's gonna.
Gilwin, he thinks I'm drowning. Gilwin, help me! He thinks I'm drowning.
He pulls off his tunic.
I'm not.
His leather tunic. He drops his sword, passes his pistol over to Gilwin and says, "Don't let it get wet," and then dives in.
All right, go ahead and give me an acrobatics roll. Vale. I don't think you have advantage on this, but it's easy. You're a keen swimmer.
Strong swimmer.
Yeah, but something about this, it's not been a while, and you're a little spooked. You go down and
it's dark. I'm not used to it.
You go dark, and you make it under the lip, and then you kind of like catch your back on it. Not enough to like you start drowning, but you definitely stop. But you can see Forak's feet and light. So you have to do another roll in a minute. Forak, your persuasion roll. The dryad just sort of like, he's your Seversinia Vada, and the tiefling goes, "Oh, no, we're not going to eat him. No, we don't eat people. No, you might. No, you don't. You probably would though. You can eat me when I die, which hopefully this dwarf isn't going to kill me. He looks like he wants to kill me though. You look kind of cute, all wet. All the fur is. Are you made of stone? That's cool. How did you do that? I've got the plants in my hair and up my horns. I would love stone. I mean, stone's not really my kind of thing. I much prefer the flowers. But, you know, I would try stone. I think I'd try anything, honestly, if I could. I think I would try it all. What were we talking about?
This cave here. How does it have the plants in it? And I don't mean your friend. There is no sunlight here, and these are not subterranean plants.
Oh, you don't need sunlight when all you need is the jester.
I look around for somebody with a funny hat.
Give me a religion roll real quick.
Or that.
I know the answer to this.
You have no idea what they mean.
I'm looking
but
for the person with
wooden
the funny
statue at the back of the room kind of looks like a jester. Like a female jester, kinda.
Is it a statue, you said?
Yeah, it's a wooden statue. It's got the gem in the eye and it's holding a torch.
I will pull myself out of the thing and start making my way over towards the statue. Clearly not moving very quickly. Forak doesn't usually anyways. He hobbles, usually. He's not hobbling now because he has the stone in him. Yeah. But he makes his way over there slowly because he's heavy. And just kind of like walks past them, not paying
Yeah, no, they
minds.
don't stop you. But the Dryad clearly is like... he's still smiling. You're not sure whether this guy can't stop smiling, but he's just kind of like, the eyes are wary. He's watching you, and he's kind of not moving enough, you know? And the tiefling woman just goes, "Oh, I've been terribly rude. I should really introduce all of us." I mean, you should introduce yourself first. That's very polite. But this is the jester. She's brilliant. This isn't the real jester, of course. This is just my statue. Not my first statue. The last one. Oh, I don't even want to tell you what happened to the last one, but I will. But I have to have a few drinks in me because that's an embarrassing story. But
I will literally hand him a flask as I'm walking by.
Who? The tiefling.
Chatty one.
Yeah, the tiefling woman just takes it. She kind of sniffs at it. It's like, oh, a poor quality whiskey, and just drinks. And it's like, oh, there's something else in there. There's some seasoning in there. Vale, go ahead and give me another acrobatics roll.
Okay.
It's at this time I would probably turn to Caitlin and be like, I can't swim.
Can you hold me so I can practice my kicks?
I just sort of like look at him and like, really? Well, as much as I want to go in there, I don't think it would be very fitting for Noble to chase after them. So let's stay here and fail to do something.
So Vale, you like a dolphin just burst out of the water.
They're gonna like splash up on the side, and he's gonna look at. He's gonna look at Forak, who's like just inspecting a statue, passing some whiskey to someone he doesn't know. And Vale's just going, "What the fuck?"
And when you speak up, the Dryad just like
I thought,
with a creak.
I thought you were drowning.
Is this your friend? I hear friendship in that voice.
This is elf. Me no friends with elves.
Oh, I love elves.
Inspecting the statue.
It's not.
The statue has elven features, sort of. Elven ears, but not necessarily.
I'm gonna roll an investigation on it shortly.
Roll it now. I mean, might as well. Your friends coming too? That's that's cool. It's meant to be a secret entrance, so not everyone goes in, but that's fine. Just don't tell anyone.
Vale's like gonna get up, gonna walk over topless to Forak, and may I have a moment with my friend?
Whoa, that's a nice. And this woman straight up just like touches Vale's chest, straight up like stroking the lines. Like there's no boundaries.
No, Vale hasn't got hair on his chest actually.
Of course,
Forak.
He's not a
this
man.
is clearly something that has been made over a long time with respect. There's no magic in its creation, but it's been made a long time with a lot of respect. It looks fey to you, but you don't really know much about the fey other than it's that kind of weird, right? Is that kind of like it's weirder than elf weird?
I mean, Fae don't just live in woods, right? They live all over.
They live all over.
Just natural, mystical creatures. So it's just a different type of. So you said this thing, it seems Fae?
The like sort of the creature that the statue is presenting kind of has a little Fae-ness to them.
Cool.
Which kind of adds up with the you can tell now it's a small emerald. There's an emerald it's literally in the pupil of the eye of the statue. The statue's that detailed. But it just catches the light perfectly.
I'm curious of the emerald itself. Is it one of those, like, is it perfectly carved? Is it what is the clarity and the quality?
It's not perfectly carved. It's a very high quality
Is it an
gem.
emerald? Is it like the emerald type of cut? Because emerald is a classic emerald cut, but you can cut
like
an emerald any way you want.
a sort of
The bar.
Yeah.
With the
the bar. No, it's a bit more of a diamondy cut, you know. With
so it's an emerald in like a diamond shape. Gotcha.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Cool.
Very nice thing. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, hey, maybe they botched the cutting, but still, the gem was nice. And yeah, again, this is clearly a thing of worship. But there's no, like, prayer mats or set up around it. It's just sort of
quality of the stone. Is it anything unique? Does it seem like it was magically worked or hand carved?
There might have been a little magic. That would kind of explain why such a nice gem has been a little manhandled and still ends up fine. But if it was a little magic, your guessing is maybe it was done by people in the Forge above, because they do work gems occasionally.
Gotcha. All right. So after I'm done investigating this and he's over here kind of like talking at me, I'll then turn to regard him, and I'll look down at the fact that he's like naked, and look up and be like, do you always go diving into places where perhaps there is danger without your armor?
Yes. Why would I want to drown? One danger at a time. Thank you very much.
Oh yes, you can drown in water. That's right.
You can't drown?
Dwarves.
You're like this guy! And like points at the
He
dryad.
can drown.
Yes.
Anyway, the point. May I have a moment with my friend?
Oh, have the room. And she kind of like walks out the way of the dryad, and the dryad's like, meh. And the dryad can't leave the room. It can't fit in any of the cabins, so it kind of goes to one of the doors and like leans and kind of blends in with the stone and the little bit of wood and creeper vine type things that go up the wall. And the halfling goes off with her as well, but she clearly like stays, like she's not hiding, but she's sort of like around the door, and you can tell she's there.
I feel like the best way to fight this dryad, if we were to ever get in combat with it here, is grow plants. Just make it so big, it's like.
That's awesome. But I think your conversation about drowning, not drowning, and what you're going to do, will do after a quick break arena.
I was like, what?
Break
what
time.
Oh,
She's just like, yeah, the dragon shows up. The statue is of a dragon. There's the dragon. No, we'll be back after a very quick break for the next part. See you.
5 minutes.